When the voices were loud, the mouths became silent. Only a mirrored film, blurry and muddled, as the heart began and the song would weep. One choice made in softness becomes tender hands that apply skincare to face. I see it in your eyes, a depth unspoken by man, where it feels silly and forced, as if the folly of youth forgot as if the folly of youth forgot the fun. Detriment or depression, the intensity relinquished through the heart. I say to you in a silent serenity, a hand upon the chest, a pledge of safe haven, home, here. This is the healing hearth, warming the hands upon a hurt heart. Tears that tickle the waterline and yet seem to never fall again out of fear, but rejoice in your refuge. Poem. It Hurt, October 9th, 2025, 22:12. I have to kind of edit this because the fuck was grammar. But yeah, it's funny how like when you make a different choice and your body starts to learn, or more so like just every single part of yourself starts to learn that, damn, I must have been really fucking hard on myself. I must have been so mean that I would literally just get depressed or feel helpless, hopeless even. And it was kind of like reading this poem and thinking like, it's like, I just like, it was weird. I got triggered and then I responded differently. And I was sitting, I was experiencing my emotions. I let it be felt throughout my body. And then I released it. Then I felt like it was as if it wasn't my own. As I was sitting and studying, I suddenly was just like, I almost started to trip out for a second. It was like, I'm like completely stabilized and sober right now, okay? Let's just make that very fucking clear. And it's like, it was so strange. Like, I kind of was like seeing, but like hearing voices, but I wasn't hearing the voice. Like, there were no words, there was nothing like being berated. So it was like almost like a mirage. And that's what I was talking about, like a mirrored film where you're seeing, you know, like when you see in a film and there are words, it's like someone shouting, but they're mouthing words, but you don't hear the words. And I feel like that's kind of how I saw a past experience, really, with myself, where I used to get so mean and like just berate myself, really. I would just be like, yeah, of course, like, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it just doesn't feel right anymore. And so sometimes I like to, or not even sometimes I like to, it's just like this time that I really feel like I saw how much I was painting my past with very just darkness, with like darkness, and would get so just dark. I don't know how else to describe it, really. It's like there's watercolors and it becomes all muddled and it doesn't become brown or anything. It becomes like dark midnight blue. As someone who reads tarot, it always comes back to having faith and knowing that everything always truly works out in my favor. And I don't mean this out of gain, I mean this out of it's okay how things are, because even if it doesn't make sense, even if it might not be what I want, it actually is showing me that this is what I need. And I'm still learning to appreciate this part of the process where I am that home, I am that safe haven, I am the hearth, the refuge for the pain that I've experienced and the feelings that I have. And it's kind of like a strange thing because it's, how do I describe it? Like, especially because I study astrology and I study my own chart, being a Capricorn moon comes with almost like a structure, which is crazy as fuck because it's a flexible structure. Sometimes I make choices where it's like literally like a repetitive cycle, and because I'm moving forward and with a different intention, things change. And so that's kind of what I'm experiencing, is like by having a different intention, by releasing certain expectations, or really just the hold that I had on myself, the chokehold, bro, like literally not speaking up, not saying what truly comes through from the heart, and being okay with that, you know, being okay with not being heard or being misunderstood, but also being open to people understanding me in their own ways and being receptive to what I have to say. And it's like both make me slightly uncomfortable, one more than the other, which unironically is the more positive experience, right? And I was never like clinically diagnosed with depression, but as someone who's studying psychology, I'm not going to deny that it was a very prolonged experience. That's the one thing that really differentiates, is like in the past I would get down, but I wouldn't stay there. But at a certain point, I did. It was like every day for years. And it's crazy how like passive you can get when it comes to your own pain. It's like actually insane. Like seriously, to choose the same thing, to choose that same choice of brushing it off, but more so like not taking it seriously enough to actually bring it into consideration that it hurts, or that you have every ability, all that you need, the capacity to hold space for yourself. That's truly what I feel like it is most of the time, is like even in platonic or even like chemical connections, being okay with not having that, like, how do I describe that? It's like, I guess you could say just, it's like chemistry versus compatibility, you know? And I think I talked about this in a past video where I was like, it's shown me that sometimes just because I don't want the compatibility, like it's almost like not, it's being uncomfortable with the resonance within me and another person despite me witnessing differences. But it's like trying to find a reason for dissonance. Yeah, that's the video. I'm gonna leave it at that because I'm still processing this right now. And I feel like I wanted to share this just because that's what this is. It's a video log. It's not just my high highs, but sometimes it's my low lows, and not even my extremes of experiencing, but really just two different things being experienced at the same time. But I am grateful to an extent because I do feel like I have really, really learned I've like literally taught myself. I feel like that's what it is sometimes. It's like they say that I'm in my neuroscience class, like we learned that depression is also partially genetic. And it makes sense to me because it's like, well, if you think about the way that we're taught to treat ourselves because of the way that maybe our parent figures treat themselves, you know? And then you carry that on without addressing it or redirecting it. And it's like truly without almost unlearning and then reteaching yourself. When do you ever let it go? Truly. And so I feel like, partially at least, there is an extent of that, me applying the things that I've unlearned, relearned, and am still being resuscitated with. You know, like applying that on a practical level. So I really do feel like I face myself and I'm kind of like, you know what? I just really need my support at the end of the day. And I'm applying like the lesson of not giving my power away so much. Not even like so easily, it's really just so much. And it's kind of one of those things where like they say spiritually in the spiritual community, they say like if you hang out with someone and you leave it feeling depleted, that's like a telltale sign that this person is not meant for you. But then in this experience that I'm having is like understanding how I drain myself, where I give too much, or I'm like forcing it, or like I'm overextending myself, you know? And it's kind of like bringing myself back and being like, hey, like, I know you care. I know you care a lot sometimes, but this is not the way that I want to treat you because it's starting to hurt. And I'm not saying that. How do I even. There's this quote where it's like, something about like pain and misery, you know, where you just self-inflict pain because it's like you're more used to being miserable. But in reality, if you don't feel the pain through and through, then truly you're just creating the most miserable reality that you could live. And so I really just faced myself. I sat down, I kind of took some deep breaths, and I let myself process my emotions. And so now I'm here. I wrote a poem. I feel a little better about it. I'm just going to take it step by step because this is new. This is different, more so. This is different. It feels familiar and yet unfamiliar. And I'm just trying my best. That's it. Thanks for watching. Once again, this is a video log. So use your discernment, you know? I just be living life, bro. I just be living life. I'm sending you so much love and support on your own spiritual journey. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being alive. Seriously.